Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to PausResume.com's review of Star Fox Zero for the Wii U. It's been far too long since we've had a Star Fox game in the vein of the original SNES and Nintendo 64 titles. Star Fox Zero, made by Platinum Games under Shigeru Miyamoto's watch, brings the Star Fox team back to the forefront and stands as one of the last games to grace the Wii U console. Those hoping for an entirely new Star Fox game will be both pleased and disappointed in equal measure. While it looks and feels like an entirely new experience, it hits the same plot points and level design as Star Fox 64 all too often. At times we felt like we were playing a reimagining of the classic Nintendo 64 title rather than a brand new Star Fox game. The biggest change are the controls themselves, with the left stick steering the R-wing while the gamepad itself is used to aim. You'll see the classic behind the ship view on the TV, but the gamepad screen shows the view from the cockpit, meaning you can fly in one direction while shooting in another. But while the control scheme looks good on paper, when it came to playing it was a struggle to get to grips with. A lot of the time we were focusing on the gamepad too much and not on where we were actually flying, causing a lot of crashes and frustration. The on-rails sections in particular were a notable concern when it came to the controls, but going into all range mode and being allowed to fly anywhere let them come more into their own and allowed the experience to be more manageable. The dogfights against perennial rival Star Wolf were particular highlights. Aiming on the gamepad while checking your surroundings to search for them was fun, and to date, there isn't anything on consoles that can match that feeling. Somersaulting over an enemy and being on their tail, when moments prior they were on yours, is a great thrill that only Star Fox can give you. Perhaps with some adjustment the unique control system could work, but with the Wii U slowly coming to an end, it's unlikely we'll see any refinement in the future. The game also features an extended training mode and forces you into it when you boot the game up for the first time. This inclusion alludes to the fact that the developers were clearly aware that the controls would be an issue for some. Throughout the main game you'll travel to a myriad of different locations, while also coming across warp fields that introduce you to different levels and challenges. Most, if not all, are wonderful to look at and give a real sense that you're in the middle of a war. You'll also be given a range of vehicles within the game that allow you to perform specific feats, such as sending a small robot to hack a computer or being able to walk on the floor with the imaginatively named Walker. The Landmaster tank also makes a return, but it's the R-wing that steals the show. Far too often we ended up in another vehicle and immediately longed to be back in the skies. The additional vehicles broke up the gameplay and added variation, but it came far too often. Like the controls, we felt like we were struggling to get out of the second-rate vehicles and back to the R-wing. While it's able to stand on its own, Star Fox Zero is more of a reimagining of a Nintendo 64 classic rather than an all-new Star Fox game. But that's not a bad thing. One thing that might be the biggest issue though is the controls. Getting to grips with aiming and steering at the same time is something that some players just won't be wired to do, making for a frustrating experience. For those that can overcome the control issues, they'll find a Star Fox game begging to be replayed for secrets after the 4-hour main story is completed. There's much to be unlocked, but don't expect to still be playing Star Fox Zero in a month's time.